Welcome back to the deep dive. We're here again, sifting through the noise to find those insights that really count. And today, we're diving into something pretty fundamental, something we all deal with constantly,
Yeah.
our emotions. I mean, think about it. We all know deep down that our feelings really shape our days, our lives. And let's be honest, those negative ones, they can seriously, you know, drag down our quality of life.
Absolutely. They really can undermine things.
In our bodies.
Yeah.
They're definitely listening. You felt it, right? Anxiety making your heart pound, your breath go shallow, maybe you fidget,
Yeah.
or even things like, well, irritable bowel syndrome. There's often a strong link there to emotional states, to imbalance. Our body often just mirrors what's going on inside emotionally.
It's very direct connection.
But here's where it gets really interesting and maybe empowering. What if you're not just stuck receiving these emotions? What if there are ways to actually modify their impact, their physical impact, even the neurological stuff, like to kind of inverse engineer your way to feeling different?
Inverse engineer. I like that framing.
Yeah, like using specific techniques to change your body and mind on purpose instead of just, letting emotions run the show.
That's exactly right. That common idea, the one a lot of us grew up with, that we're just sort of at the mercy of our feelings.
Right.
It's really not the whole picture. Emotions definitely bubble up, often unconsciously, sure. But there are actually a whole host of techniques backed by some really fascinating science. And these aren't just about tweaking your physical state. They directly influence your emotional state, even your mental state. It's all about tapping into that incredible mind-body loop.
The two-way street.
Precisely. So yeah, our mission today is to give you some practical, actionable tools. Tools that use this mind-body link to give you, well, frankly, a lot more control over your emotional world than maybe you thought possible. Understanding how to pull those internal levers, so to speak.
Okay, great. So we've got three main techniques we're going to explore based on our source material, plus a pretty powerful bonus one. And all of them are really designed to help you change how emotions physically and neurologically land. So yeah, get ready to maybe rethink how you feel and how you can feel.
Let's dive in.
All right. First up, maybe the most immediate one, the idea of consciously changing your physiology. Like, imagine you're having a bit of a rubbish day, feeling down, sad, just blah. What happens physically? Your body just kind of adopts a certain pattern, doesn't it? Breathing changes, muscles tense or slacken in a certain way, your face falls, your posture, it all shifts.
Yeah, it's like an automatic physical signature for that mood.
Exactly. Like your body's just reflecting that inner state.
And crucially, it's not just reflecting, it's also telling your brain about it. It's feeding back information. This creates this powerful feedback loop. Body signals, brain adjusts its neurotransmitters to match that physical state it's hearing about. It wants to be consistent.
Right. The brain likes coherence. But, okay, if someone's really slumped, feeling low, physically embodying that, isn't it hard to just switch? What helps overcome that initial resistance?
That's a really important point because, yes, it feels totally unnatural sometimes. Forcing a smile when you feel awful, it seems fake. But the key thing our sources point out is that these physical patterns aren't just side effects. They actually help produce the matching brain chemistry. So someone in a depressive state, for example, often hunched shoulders, shallow breathing, maybe moving slower, talking slower.
Yeah, you can picture it.
Those physical things actually contribute to producing fewer of the good mood chemicals, like dopamine and serotonin. It digs the hole deeper, in a way.
Wow.
And it's interesting, right? Because many medical treatments aim to boost serotonin with drugs, but this suggests we can nudge it from the outside in, too, with our bodies.
So the takeaway for you listening is, you've got a lever here, a physical one. If you're in a state you don't want to be in, you can consciously choose to interrupt those physical patterns. It sounds simple, maybe too simple, but the science seems solid.
It really does.
Let's start with breathing. We often breathe shallowly, up in the chest, when stressed or sad. So instead, consciously shift to deep, slow belly breathing, abdominal breathing. Really feel your stomach expand as you inhale.
Take a pause, maybe.
Yeah, take a pause. Even if it feels forced at first, doing that for just a few minutes starts to change the neurotransmitter mix. It can actually boost serotonin pretty quickly.
Just a few conscious breaths can make a difference.
Exactly.
Wow.
And then there's the facial expression one. This one's kind of wild. Purposefully make a face that contradicts how you feel.
Like the forced smile example.
Right. I can just imagine people trying this feeling a bit silly. But even if it feels fake, forcing that smile sends a confusing message to your brain. It's getting like sad signals from inside, but happy signals from the facial muscles.
Yeah, a biological conflict.
And the brain wanting that coherence we talked about, often nudges itself towards matching the physical expression. It
Mhm.
starts producing more serotonin, more dopamine. It basically tricks itself into feeling a bit better.
It's fascinating, isn't it? And what's great about this whole physiological approach is how immediate it can be. It's not just one thing. It's the breathing, the posture, the face. It's a whole toolkit you can use together. A really direct way to get some quick physiological and neurological shifts happening and feel better right then and there. It gives you that immediate leverage.
Okay, that's a great tangible starting point. Now let's move beyond the purely physical body. There's this other tool we use constantly, maybe without fully realizing its power. Language, our
Yeah.
words,
Oh, absolutely. Language is huge.
the labels we put on things, how we talk about our feelings.
That's it. And the key insight here from the neurophysiology perspective is that your brain actually builds its response based on the words you feed it. It's not just thinking positive vaguely, it's about how your brain physically reacts. Well, the brain needs words to sort of categorize an experience, to make sense of it. And once it attaches a word, it links that to all the past times you used that word or felt that way. And it basically downloads a similar physiological reaction pattern into your body.
Whoa.
So choosing a less intense word, say, I'm a bit bothered instead of I am furious, literally changes the chemical cocktail your brain releases. It dials down the physical intensity.
So the words we use, just the labels, have that much direct physical power.
Mm-hmm.
Can you give us a concrete example?
Definitely. Think about the difference in your body's actual physical reaction. I am furious versus, okay, I'm a little annoyed.
Yeah, it feels different just saying it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Each phrase triggers a different level of neurotransmitters, stress hormones, maybe adrenaline flooding your system. Your body literally responds differently depending on the label, and it goes deep. Our sources mention these fascinating studies, certain tribal cultures that don't have words for past or future in the way we do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And they seem less prone to things like anxiety. The idea is if your brain doesn't have the linguistic box to put that feeling into, the experience itself might be different or less intense. It can't capture it in the same way.
Wow, that really highlights the power we have just in choosing our words. So being conscious about the language we use, framing things deliberately, it's simple, costs nothing. But it's a seriously effective way to change how we experience something, to kind of relabel it and change its impact on us all through language. Pretty amazing.
It really is a powerful, low-cost tool.
Okay, so tool 1, physiology. Tool 2, language. What's our third technique?
The third one is about directing your focus, where you put your attention.
Ah, okay. And this isn't just like look on the bright side's platitudes, right? There's more going on.
Much more. We're talking about actively training your brain to perceive things differently. And yeah, it's a measurable neurobiological process. It affects your well-being quite profoundly.
How does that work biologically?
Well, it ties into brain waves. You might have heard of EEGs, electroencephalograms. They measure electrical activity in the brain.
Sure.
Different emotional states actually correlate with different brainwave patterns. When we're stressed, anxious, maybe overwhelmed, the brain often kicks into these high-frequency beta waves.
Beta waves, like alert mode.
Kind of, yeah. High alert, maybe fight or flight. It's not very efficient for calm, clear thinking.
Yeah.
Ideally, for optimal function, creativity, relaxation, the brain prefers alpha waves. That's a more normal, balanced state.
Okay, alpha good, beta less good if it's constant stress. So how do we encourage more alpha?
The simplest way, according to the research we looked at, is through emotions like gratitude.
Gratitude, really.
Yep, consciously focusing on things you're grateful for actually measurably slows down your brainwave frequency. It helps shift you out of beta and into alpha. It literally helps retune your brain's electrical activity.
That's incredible and so accessible.
It is.
So practically speaking, what does this mean day to day? It means consciously shifting where your mental spotlight is pointing. Maybe it's 5 minutes of meditation. Maybe it's mindful walking. Maybe it's just taking a second while waiting for the bus to really feel thankful for something specific or focusing on something that genuinely makes you happy. Doing that, you're literally changing your brain's operating mode in that moment,
Yeah.
giving it the input it needs to shift GERS into a calmer, more resourceful state.
Exactly. And it's not just a temporary fix for that moment either. Practicing this regularly actually strengthens and develops the parts of your brain associated with happiness and well-being. Think of it like building a muscle.
Happiness muscle, I like that.
Yeah,
Good.
it increases your brain's capacity over time to naturally focus on positive things. It builds a more resilient neural pathway for feeling good. It helps you live better in the long run.
Physiology, language, attention.
Hmm.
Powerful stuff. Okay, now you mentioned a bonus technique.
Yes, a bonus one. And this one's pretty intense, but also fascinating. It's ancient, but science is really digging into it now.
Okay.
We're talking about cold exposure.
Cold exposure, like ice baths. That sounds bracing.
It definitely is bracing, but the effects, as detailed in our sources, are pretty remarkable, not just for mood, but even for the immune system.
Okay, I'm intrigued. How intense are we talking, and what's the mechanism?
We're generally talking about controlled exposure. Cold showers are one way, or cold water immersion baths. Plunges usually around 14 degrees Celsius. That's about 57 Fahrenheit.
14 degrees. Okay, that's properly cold.
It is. The idea is a deliberate, controlled shock to the system, but for a short time. And the method described is quite specific. Submerging yourself up to the shoulders, you don't even have to put your head under in water at that temperature or lower.
Right, and what happens physiologically?
The changes are fast and dramatic. Our sources cite things like noradrenaline, that's a hormone, and neurotransmitter linked to focus, alertness, mood can spike by 500%.
500%.
500%. Dopamine, the pleasure motivation chemical, can jump by 250%. And at the same time, cortisol, the main stress hormone, tends to decrease significantly. So you get this massive mood-boosting, focus-enhancing chemical surge, while stress hormones drop.
That is a serious chemical reset.
It really is.
A neurotransmitter shift that intense.
Ah.
Yeah, I can see how that would generate a physical and mental response powerful enough to just override whatever mood you were in before.
Pretty much. If you're feeling sluggish, stressed, down, a controlled cold plunge can basically jolt your system into a completely different state. It's a very potent way to reset your emotional baseline in the moment.
Definitely a powerful, if maybe slightly intimidating tool for that inverse engineering toolkit we talked about.
Intense, but effective for many.
Okay, so let's pull this all together. What's the big picture here? We've looked at some really impactful strategies, changing your posture, your breathing, consciously picking your words, directing your focus, even taking a cold plunge. These aren't just theories. They seem to be real science-backed keys you can use to actively modify your emotional state, to improve your well-being.
Absolutely. And while, these tools might not solve every single complex emotional issue, some things definitely need deeper work, maybe professional help.
Of course.
The fundamental understanding here is incredibly empowering. It's knowing that you do have techniques available, real actionable things you can do to change how emotions affect you, and to really work towards living the best quality life possible. Because ultimately, knowing this stuff is great, but it's the application that makes the difference, right? Understanding it and then using it.
That's the key, putting it into practice. We really hope this deep dive has sparked some ideas, given you some concrete things to try. So here's something to think about as we wrap up. How might just choosing one different word next time you feel frustrated, or taking literally 5 deep belly breaths when you feel stressed, how might that small action change the course of the rest of your day? Think about that power you have right now to start inverse engineering your own feelings.